If you watched TCU play last year, you would have noticed this cornerback on the field, Trevius Hodges-Tomlinson. He's one of the smallest guys on the field, but that doesn't stop him from making plays and winning the Jim Thorpe Award, which, if you didn't know, is an award given to the best cornerback in college football. And the stats and film back it up. But after watching his film from the 2022 season, I think I have a general grasp of where his talents are, the team he should be on, and his potential moving forward. Now, in his rookie season, I don't believe he will be a true shutdown corner. I don't think he will be the best cornerback on his team, or should be. I see him being a quality starter on a zone-heavy team, which isn't bad by any means. But let me show you why. This game is against SMU Mustangs, and Tomlinson lines up against none other than Rashee Rice for the majority of the game. And if you don't know, Rashee Rice is a wide receiver projected to be drafted in the second or third round of the draft. And he's also one of the best jump ball receivers, deep threats in college. Not to mention, he's also 6'2", and Tomlinson is small. How small? I'll tell you at the end. So first quarter, 5:16 left in the quarter. This is the very first ball thrown Tomlinson's way. It's one-on-one man coverage against Rashee Rice, and it's not the best curl route in the world, which is part of Rashee Rice's downfall as a receiver. And Tomlinson is just way smaller, and when he fights for position at the end of the break, he gets a tug which warrants a pass interference. Second quarter, 14-14, we see one-on-one man coverage again with Rice. It's a back shoulder throw 20 yards downfield. Rice just uses his large frame to box Tomlinson out, and another pass interference is called. Tomlinson loses balance and grabs him once again. Just a couple of plays later, we see Tomlinson get his third pass interference for the first half. I thought it was egregious by the ref, but it happened. In my opinion, the ball was nearly uncatchable, but hey, it happened, so you do have to count it. Let's fast forward a little more. Almost at the 2-minute warning, Rashee Rice is targeted again. Tomlinson is on him again in a one-on-one matchup, and Tomlinson even presses this time to try and delay the route. It's a jump ball into the end zone. Rashee Rice bodies Tomlinson, uses his large frame, and it's a touchdown. And it looked fairly easy because Rashee Rice is great at those jump balls. Fast forward to the fourth quarter, the final ball between these two ends in a familiar way. Tomlinson even gives 10 yards of cushion for Rice, and here we see another jump ball. Rice rises up and just big bodies Tomlinson again, and another pass interference is called, but the catch was made regardless. Rice rises up with the best of them. He really does. That's probably his biggest strength once he hits the NFL. And Tomlinson just can't rise up with him. He struggles to fight for position. This is one of the worst games in his 2022 season. I mean, he had no answers for Rice, and he was just getting big bodied all game. And if you look at his technique and footwork in this game, it's solid. Like, the reason he's not winning these jump ball battles isn't because he's getting burnt. It's just his small frame cannot compete with the bigger receivers who know how to win these jump ball scenarios. Now, I will say he did trip a couple times, but he flips hips well and is in position to make plays. And regardless of that game, Tomlinson played even more elite talent last year. He had to go against Iowa State Xavier Hutchinson, Oklahoma's Marvin Mims, and even held his own against those two, which, if you didn't know, those are future NFL wide receivers. The only caveat to that is the starting QB for each team got injured in both of these games. So it's a little unfair to the wide receivers, but I can't take away Tomlinson's game. His technique and athleticism is still on display. I'll show you a couple plays right here where we see some insane closing speed on routes that break them up, or even his tackling ability. He shoots in like a rocket to make tackles. He's not afraid of contact, even for his small stature. This play right here is probably one of my favorite displays of his talent right here. Cushion one-on-one man coverage. Mims runs a curl route, and Tomlinson just waits and at the perfect time breaks the pass up. Against Oklahoma again, Mims runs a fly down the sideline. As soon as Tomlinson sees that's his intentions, he immediately flips his hips and runs with him. And as you see in this play, he doesn't lose any speed when he flips his hips. It's very smooth, it's very fluid, which is another big strength of his game. He goes stride for stride with him and breaks the pass up at the perfect time by battling Mims' hands away. If we watch the replay, you might think he got there a little early, but Mims didn't try to banter with the ref. The announcers in the actual clip didn't even say anything. He just said Mims should have made the catch. It's just good defense. Let's move on to the Iowa State game. They run a QB option here, and we see right when Tomlinson knows it's a QB option, he explodes into the backfield to make the tackle. You see there's a wide receiver that was supposed to block him, but literally, Tomlinson is just way too fast and quick for anyone to block him, and the QB had no chance to make him miss. On this play, he's locked in man coverage with Hutchinson, and by the looks of it, Hutchinson was a decoy or a pick so the running back could get open on the wheel route. And it worked out, but the QB was pressured and hits his drag route in front of him. And before this wide receiver can even have a chance to make people miss, Tomlinson gets him from behind for no gain on third down. I don't think Tomlinson will be a breakout player in his rookie year. I think he will have some adjustments to work through as these bigger, top-level wide receivers will find success catching balls over him. But by his second season, I think he'll be way more experienced and a lot better in those situations, so you have to be patient with him. I see his top potential being a Pro Bowl caliber player for a couple of years if he gets the right team. A team that would suit him properly is actually the Minnesota Vikings 2021 defense, because the cornerbacks on that team played a lot of off-zone coverage, tons of cushion, and they were basically forced to break on wide receivers and make plays. And a scheme like that fits him perfectly because you really don't want him trying to press up on bigger wide receivers or press much guys in general. But with the new defensive coordinator, Leslie Frazier, the defensive scheme will be very different than last year's disaster in defense. So let's get a summary of what I think of him. Pros, breaking speed is NFL ready. He can break down routes so fluid and quick. I've been saying this all video. He's superbly athletic, can jump really high, crazy quickness, his hips are smooth and has great footwork, and he's just a student of the position. He's a smart cornerback, knows what's going on at all times. And the cons for him are very simple. He's 5'8", 180 pounds, and not very strong. With that kind of stature, he will struggle mightily against bigger wide receivers and tight ends. With that small frame, he gets very grabby, which warrants a lot of penalties. So there's my evaluation on Tomlinson, the nephew of Ladamian Tomlinson, and I hope the guy finds success. I'm a short guy as well, and I'm always rooting for the short fellas in the end. It's just those bigger wide receivers will be an obstacle that he will have to overcome and just learn how to get that position and make sure he wins those one-on-one battles. Sports Nerd Marty is out.